Okay, I think I can start. If everybody is with me, let's just take a deep breath. And enter into this space, another workshop in this wonderful space organized by Eric. Many thanks to him. Many thanks for the work that he does, for bringing us together in such wonderful spaces. My relationship with Jung goes back a long time, but I'm no expert. In fact, it's quite scary to go into Jung, we can say that, because this is a man who has done so much. Why Jung is something you may ask. Well, as storytellers, fascinating insights into the human mind was brought out by this person. So why not Jung? And Eric has a lot to do with my interest. I did a course with him, the story therapy course. So from then on, how a story gets into our being. I'm sure coming from India that these ideas existed, and that's why we have such wonderful, immense epics that are told. Because that idea that the stories we tell are actually the stories we have lived. Those are the stories that we tell, the ones which are us. And Carl Jung, with his student, his greatest student, Marie-Louise von Franz. In fact, it's told that Marie-Louise von Franz is who you must read, or we must read, to understand Carl Jung. Carl Jung is just so abstract, but to understand him, we have to read his students' works. And I have read little of her understanding, her interpretation of fairy tales, and they're really beautiful, because it's like you feel, that's it, that's why. And one of the that's why that happened was, in the book, she talks about, Marie-Louise von Franz tells us that a story that happened to us, to anyone, to everyone, was told so many times and so many places that soon that story traveled and traveled and traveled. And when it reached a particular point, it was being told, and its essence was so profound and it connected with each one of us, that it became a myth. Do you see where it is going? So it is really a story that starts as a conversation or a sharing of an event, which travels in the voices, in the way it is told. It becomes a folk tale, it becomes a fairy tale, it becomes a myth. And then finally, these mythic creatures or these mythic people become our heroes, our heroines, our villains, and we are telling their stories. So when we work backwards, all the mythic stories is all about us. All of that is within us too. And why do we tell these stories? Because we want to understand the purpose, the meaning of our life. What is the purpose? The meaning that I bring into this life. And Jung says that the whole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light of meaning in the darkness of mere being. So every story, we spoke about truth in the previous workshop. So every story brings a little bit of our truth into ourselves. Are you getting me? If you feel connected to what I'm saying, please put a thumbs up or any reaction. Yeah. So I need to explain a little bit before we go into the story, because otherwise I'm not giving you a context. That's the reason why I thought it is important to share this part. So Jung talks about the self, the center, the core is who you are. And he talks about this ego. Ego is not your ego, the one where no, he's full of ego. It's been misused, the word. But here the ego means who I think I am, who is within me, all that I attribute to this person I am. That is the ego. And persona is what I choose to show the outside world. So if you see this picture, that the diagram or picture that is there, you'll see that it's beautifully depicting these aspects of ourself. And there are other words here: collective consciousness, the unconscious. These are all words that come to us from Jung, which we are using quite happily in different contexts. It's fine. It's fine to use them. But the most important thing that Jung brought out in his work is directive thinking versus fantasy or thinking in dreams. It said that it's over this that he broke up with Freud, because he proposed that we think in two ways. We think in two ways. And the second way, fantasy thinking, thinking in dreams, is something that we do inside. That is the image that is formed inside us, that informs us who we are. While directive thinking is what we do to inform others who we are. That's the words we use. So as storytellers, don't you think it's important for us to know both aspects of ourselves, these two sides of ourselves? What are the words we are choosing? And what is the image, the thinking in fantasy that's happening within us? And how are these two coming together for us to offer it to the world? And mostly in our journey as storytellers, this is what happens. We perhaps start as this word communicator, but slowly you see we're going inwards and looking at the images being formed within us as we offer the story. Let me give you an example. When I say the word money, what comes to your mind? Put it on the chat box. Money. You can put it on the chat box. You can unmute and speak. Resource. You can unmute. Vitamin M, freedom. Comfort. Financial assurance, shopping. Money, something necessary, hard work, valuable, sophisticated life. Yes, sophisticated life. Okay, need for survival. Okay. Pile of gold doubloons. Need for survival. Who is now? You also read the words coming, and the last one we got was pile of doubloons. Can I ask this person, who is this? DJS? DJS? Can you unmute and tell us what you are, can you explain that for us?
Probably just, I was thinking along the lines of storytelling and fairy tales. So the gold doubloons was just the image that I had in my head when you said money.
Okay, okay. So you see that many of us are using words, associations. These words are also associations. But here we have someone who has given us an image, a picture. Of course, they are words again. But did any of you, when I said money, did a picture of that note come into your mind? The picture of that, the coins, a wallet? What happened? What was your way of thinking over there? Were you thinking in words or were you thinking in images? Don't have to answer me, but just see the beauty of that. So Jung brought out this aspect that we think in two ways: words and images, one and the other. But over time, humans have learned to be more directive in their thinking, to think in words all the time. But actually speaking, thinking in images predates thinking in words. It comes before. So when we start as storytellers, and in this journey of storytelling, we'll see this shift happening as we go deeper, that we move from words to the images, and the profound impact of these images on us and how we think, how we express. There's a shift in the way we become. The stories, the images in the stories start affecting our inner self. And actually what the story is doing is connecting us to the collective reality. In the same example, we had lots of words, so many words coming. Yeah, so many of you written, I saw images of money, picture of Lakshmi came up. Lakshmi is our goddess of wealth. So a picture of Lakshmi came up when you think of money. Now you see, I just used one word, money. But that money is a word that was our collective reality. Collective reality means we all know there's a universal symbol for that money. That word itself is a universal because we know the English language. We're predominantly speaking in English language, so please bear with me. I'm not using any other language. But the word money is our collective reality. We all know that money. But what is our personal reality? Our personal reality is all the words you have expressed now. What it means to you, what it means to each one of us is so different. For some, it is financial assurance. For some, it's comfort. For some, it's freedom. It's vitamin. It's resource. So you see that this beautiful shift of this beautiful tension between what is the collective idea of something and what is my personal connect to that. These two, the tension of opposites, as it's called by Jung and Jungian, Jung, what do you call them? I don't want to use the word analysts. Let's just call them Jungians. People who follow Jungian thought is this tension of opposites, that we are light and dark at the same time. We are loud and soft at the same time. We are a collective consciousness and we are a personal consciousness together. The light and the shadow together. These two play within us. And when they play within us, they bring out some very important aspects of ourself, which can be unearthed through, again, something which was brought out into the Western world by Jung through what is called as a mandala. Mandala is just a circle. Mandala is just a circle. But in Buddhist understanding, it is a very sacred circle because it holds you as a self. It holds us within it. If you see, the circle has everything equidistant. So the beauty of a mandala is that when we start drawing a mandala, it starts holding us in totality. And the unconscious process is expressed through images in this mandala. And once we start unfolding this mandala for ourselves, we'll understand what is our personal reality and how it connects to the collective reality. So, having got interested in this, there is Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. But what if we look at our life through the 4 stages of life brought out by Jung? That was the idea which came for this workshop. And I really thank Eric for giving the space for us to try these different things. It's new for me, but the space to try it out, I'm really grateful that we have such a space and people who are interested who have come together for this. So again, these are just words. Please take a look at them. Right now, they don't mean anything, but as we go into our life story, you will perhaps see yourself in it. And making note of this is what we are going to do. Making note, capturing it is what we are going to do. According to Buddhist philosophy, life is inherently empty and meaningless, and humans are meaning-making machines. And the ultimate path to the self is through knowing yourself. So, according to Jung, there are 4 stages. We're going to be exploring that. I'm not going to talk about it now. And what we need to do now is to just look at this, the Jungian archetypes. Just read it. If you cannot read it, I'm going to read it out for you. So, what is a Jungian archetype? It is the collective, what you can call it, the collective energy, the collective characters that they have come up with, Jung had come up with, so that we can see ourselves or identify ourselves in these characters. Why do we need to do that? It's a beautiful exploration of ourself. It brings meaning into our life and into what we do and what we want to do. So you can have the archetype of the lover, the explorer. Right now, I'm living the archetype of the explorer. I'm exploring, and I think each one of you is coming with that archetype too. Ruler, rebel, caregiver, hero, the witch, magician, wizard. And last workshop, we heard the storyteller as the magician, the wizard, the witch. The witch is not in the negative connotation that usually is seen in fairy tales. It's the one endowed with magical abilities who can make dreams come true. That's a witch. Sage, innocent, jester, creator, and a regular, and everyone. Now, what are all these words? Whatever they mean to you. Each of these archetypes is whatever it means to you, your personal reality. Okay? And in the mandala, we are going to be exploring these colors. Again, though I have given meaning, which I've got from a book, which I'll introduce to you later, these meanings are not as important as our individual meaning for what we are going to do, our personal meaning for it. So with that, I'm going to stop talking and get into the story. Are we all ready to get into the story? Yeah? Anything you want to speak about? You have questions? We will go into that when we stop at a particular point in the story. So this is the story that has chosen us. It comes from the Inuit culture, and it's called The Skeleton Woman. The Skeleton Woman is taken from a book that I read, which is called the Patakin Tales. It's not the same skeleton woman you would encounter in the others book, Women Who Run with Wolves. This is a different skeleton woman. Come with me to hear her story. She lived with her parents in the cold tundras. They took good care of her. But as all youngsters on the edge of youth and adulthood, she was full of herself. She knew who she was, or she believed she knew who she was. Often she would look at herself in the mirror, admiring, sometimes finding fault with herself. The way her hair was too straight, not curly enough, or her eyebrows, her nose, her mouth, her hands, her feet, every part of herself. She would look in the mirror and wonder, who am I? What am I? And as it was the time for her to be married, her parents would ask her, would beg her to choose a suitable one. And there were many. They would arrive with their ptarmigan robes and sealskin gifts, give it to her, but she would reject each of them. They were not good enough for her. She had an excuse to reject them too. Oh, he doesn't look good enough. Oh, he's not tall enough. Oh, this is not what I'm looking for. And at every rejection, her parents would wonder, what is to become of her? Until one day, there was a knock on the door. And when she opened it, there stood two gigantic figures at the door. She took a step back, wondering who they were and why they were standing there in her doorstep. And then she heard a deep voice, a voice which beckoned her. Come, it said, come with us. Come. Just one word was heard by her, but she felt that was the call. That was her call. And she stepped out of the door. Not a glance behind that she was leaving her father, her mother. She stepped out of the door to follow the two figures. It was cold, dark. Yet she stepped out to follow the two figures, those gigantic figures, into the deep darkness of the night. She hurried, her steps small. The gigantic figures were too fast for her. Wait for me, wait, she yelled, but they just wouldn't listen. They moved faster and she tried, she fell, she got up. She tried again to reach, to catch up with them. But barely, all she could feel was the cold on her and that she must keep up. She must keep up with them. They were going further and further away while she was trying to catch up with them. Stop, she said. Stop, let me catch up. Somehow that made them stop. They turned around to hold her on either side. And only then she realized they were not humans. They lifted, carried, and dragged her to the very edge of a river. And there, she had a moment to glance into its icy depths. They pushed her. She fell. She fell into the water that took her deeper and deeper to the bottom of that river. When she opened her eyes to see, there were creatures around her, and each of them approached her. She wondered how she would get away from them. She tried to resist, but it didn't work. She knew she just had to stay. She had to stand. She couldn't move. And then she realized why. For the creatures of the water swam around her, each of them pulling and tugging at her skin, removing her skin, her sinews, her muscle, her every outer covering was removed, leaving only her eyes for her to see, her ears for her to hear, her nose to smell, her mouth to talk. But the rest was just the skeleton woman. We pause here for us to collect our thoughts. I want all of you to now grab a piece of clear paper, empty paper. I hope you have one next to you. Some colors. I hope you also have come supplied with colors. And something you can draw a circle. Now, usually it's not right to tell you what size of circle, but for us, for the lack of time, I want you to do only a small circle. Don't make a big circle, then we'll be here only doing our mandala in the circle. So draw a circle on the paper. And use your colors to respond to the story. Use your colors to respond to the story and color within the circle. You will be given 3 minutes. Is everybody clear what is to be done? So you take an empty piece of paper, draw a circle, and use the inside of the circle to respond to the story. Whatever comes up for you. Use colors, images, and at this point, try not to use words. that stands out for you in your page? What's the dominant color? Write it down. Which is the dominant shape? Any shape? It may be there, it may not be there, or if you cannot see it right away, that's also fine. But if you don't have to put it on the chat box, this is for you. Put it on your, it's your own personal response. And a number, is there a number, meaning has a shape repeated itself so many times? Is there a number that you see which is repeated in your mandala? A shape, a color, and a number. Just write it down. Once you've written it down, each of you write what you think is the meaning of that color. What is the meaning of the shape? And what is the meaning of, by meaning, I mean, what is your association with that color, with the shape and the number? Just write it down.
Can you repeat the last point, Sowmya?
What is, so you have finished your circle and you have a color, a shape and a number. Just write it down and then write your meaning. What is your association with that color? Your association with the number. What is your association with that shape? Once you've done that, write in associative writing, just write a paragraph about what you are feeling at this moment with your mandala. It could be a few sentences, could be a paragraph, it could be just a sentence. Write what has come up for you at this moment. And once you have finished writing that, and anybody feels like sharing, yeah, I can see that. Okay, Shri, to make it more clear, you can use colors directly. If you've chosen to draw first, that's also fine. But it preferably you can use the colors directly instead of using pencil and then colors. Makes it easier. But if you've chosen to use pencil, that's also fine. We can talk about that. There's no right or wrong in this. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. It's just getting to know your inner reality. That's all. Anybody would like to share what is going through their minds at this point?
I can do.
Yes, Poon.
Yeah. So this is what I drew. I don't know how much you can see.
Yeah. Wait, let me pin you. No, we cannot see. Ah, yes.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay.
I spotlight you. 1 minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just can you show it again?
Why is it
Closer.
not?
Could you unblur, Poonam? Could you try to unblur yourself?
Yeah. That's the reason. Correct. I'll do that. Yeah. So now you'll be able to see.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, the color that came up maximum I used was blue. And the shape was lines. I made a lot of lines in different forms. And the number that came to me was actually no number. I thought it was countless. Because I had done a lot of lines, so I couldn't count them. I stopped when I felt like. So for the associative writing, what I've written is that the blue color, I think, is for me depth. And the shape and the lines depicted continuity. And the number, like I said, countless. Though I've written 42, I don't know why, but I said countless.
Oh, 42. Okay, that should have some meaning for you.
Yeah, so what I've written here is what you are feeling, you said, right? So it was like depth in life, explore. There's an eye that is like a fish, see, and stay alive with your feelings.
Okay, beautiful.
Because I've made if you see, there are veins also. I was showing the red blood and the, green I've done. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fish is like an eye.
And
that's the mirror, the red thing there. So that's some kind of a reflection.
Okay.
That's what came for me.
Wonderful. Anybody else wants to share?
I can share, Sowmya.
Yeah. Yes, Ramya.
So this was the mandala that came up. Yeah, and I think the color that I saw was gray, a lot of gray. This is all gray. The color that I used was gray.
Okay.
And then the shape that repeated was something like a V.
Okay.
Everywhere. I see a lot of V. And the number, I counted the number of these and it came up as 9.
Okay.
And I think I feel very curious about the gray. I'm just wondering. But the number 9 instantly brought an image of my grandfather because he would really love the number 9. So in fact, I'm right now with him as I'm, so the number 9, I'm trying to wonder what it means, but I'm feeling very excited thinking that 9 came up because it was his favorite number. And I love 3 usually. So I'm just thinking of how, 3 multiplied by 3. And I think when I wrote, writing free, some words came up. So the words that came up were gray, gratitude, people, strength, hope. Yeah. So that's where I am. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful sharing. Gray, gratitude, hope. What is the meaning you've given for gray?
So I think my sort of thinking mind is coming in way and I feel like, oh my God, I'm seeing so much gray and I don't know. So I feel like the pink to me is the inner me, the soul. And I feel like there is something about, and that keeps repeating every time. I think pink seems like that, but gray seems like a new, okay, so what is this gray? And I am feeling a little heavy about it. But yeah.
Okay.
That's where I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ramya. One more, anybody else would like to share? Yeah, Salome. You're on mute. Yeah, little. Yeah. To your left a bit. Yes, and back, little back. Little back, little more. Yeah. Great. Would you like to share?
Yes. So basically, I never liked a single us doing anything alone or a solo thing. But when the feel of the story was, I don't know, that I had to draw a person, in the center, and that's so unlike me, just going one alone solo thing. Solo never goes with me, but here it went. I don't know why. And then the feel was when I was drawing it, I wanted to, go outwards. Like that solo person felt, you need to go out. So I started with 3 lines, and then I didn't want to stick to one color because I felt that there's lots and it needs to spread. And by the time I finished it, I felt that energy which was inside in the solo needs to just go out. So
Wow. Wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Can you show that again? Ah.
and it's very unlike me. Then I would never start with. So that was like something shocking for me that I chose to actually draw a single thing.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is a point for you to focus, perhaps, and see what was that which made you draw that in the center. Anybody else has something? Thanks, Salome. Thank you so much. Actually, very, very. Your image is just so profound over there.
May I, Sowmya?
Yes,
Quick
please.
share.
Yes. Who's Shri? Shri. Okay, Shri. I think.
It's Rohini.
Yeah. Shri. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So, okay, 1 second. Can you see the image?
Yeah. I'll just put the spotlight.
Yeah. So originally I had done the drawing with pencil. The orange space I had filled with some flowers. And then I tried to color it, but the flowers got submerged with the orange crayon that I used. And I didn't feel disappointed. I just felt there is a lot of sunshine on the flowers. And the green ones are the leaves, and the yellow is the stars. And if you can see, I have done a half moon. That is also not yellow in color, but it is orangish in color. And the blue ones are the drops of rain, water drops. So I counted the flowers. The flowers were 13, and 13 is the date of my birthday. And the Westerners always said 13 is unlucky. And for a long time, I was thinking, why is my birthday unlucky? But then I came over that. And this half moon, I drew orange because yesterday I saw the moonrise and it was very close to me. And that's when moon is orange. And so the stars reflect, are significant for the little flickering light, like the little hopes that we have on a dark night. And the orange flowers are, of course, for abundance, and the green leaves are for health. And water signifies that, to let go, like, the water takes its own shape and it's fluid, it is not rigid. So, go through life just like water and embrace everything and cleanse everything, whomever you touch. And these are my words that came up to me from my drawing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Yeah. Hi, Rohini. Hi.
Yeah. So, I don't think there is a lot of light falling and it is not dark. It is light actually my image. I just used. Can you just see anything or not?
Yeah, we can see a little.
Yeah.
A little light.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, whenever I write and all, it will be very light there. I don't press the pencil or the pen on the paper. That is a problem with me.
Okay.
The thing is, like, I've just drawn lines and, green lines, which I have traveled with the character in the story. So I divided this particular circle into sections. The green represents the lines, a free flow of lines represent health and healthiness. And the blue lines, which represents, the emotions, as Poonam ma'am suggested, the depth of the emotions, the wavy lines of blue. As she was just sinking into the water, drowning into the water, and she's been totally, engulfed with that element of fear, what's going to happen. So this is all the black ones, which are loop-like lines I have presented. And later on, there is nothing left. There is nothing left except the grayness. And in between, once everything ends, I again became silent and thoughtless for a moment. And so I have left this particular zone empty. So whatever was the moment she was going through, whatever emotion she was going through, I just have written, like, just stay, instead of pushing it away or shunning it away or trying to come out of it. I just felt just staying with that moment. So unless and until we completely stay with the moment, experience it, it doesn't leave us. So this is what I have gone through when you have narrated the story. So I
Brilliant.
presented it like this.
Brilliant. Lovely. Lovely.
Thank you. Thank you, Sowmya.
So when we unravel a mandala, everything is significant. So this is the, yeah, 1 minute, Parvati. So this is the mandalas represents your unconscious. What is, each aspect will have something to say. We are not going to decode the mandala as such, but the empty space, the way the shapes are made, the colors, the numbers, everything is coming from an unconscious expression. So it is coming from somewhere within you. And though we're not going to do it now, we could unravel it. You can reach out to me. We can do it together one-on-one. So right now, the capturing of the essence of this mandala is significant to us. So Parvati, yes.
It's not like, I'm not able to talk like all of them had done. Those thoughts never came to my mind of depth and everything. All I drew was just a circle you asked us to draw, and I drew a circle. And then I had the lady who had only eyes and only that. It was a story which came up, and 2-3 fish. Then I had a yellow pen.
Can you move it to the right a bit? Yeah, correct.
And I had a yellow pen. So I drew a sun.
Okay, the sun is in the center. Okay.
Yeah. And that is a color, yellow for me. And I don't know.
You've drawn the fishes also. I see you've drawn the fishes.
Yeah, I've drawn all that because it was there in the story. There was some plants also. I didn't have green, so I used this. You asked to choose a color. For me, it was yellow. And the circles were more in number. And 3 was a number I chose. And for me, yellow was bright, happiness, and light.
Okay, so what is, if you want to speak about it, what would you like to tell us? What do you think it?
Maybe I've not thought too much about it. Maybe spread happiness. Maybe spread light, spread happiness.
That's what.
And the 3 color was, we are 3 sisters, so 3 came to my mind. And I love the Trimurti, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma.
Yeah. So,
and the circle is, life is a full circle. What goes comes back to us.
Okay.
And asking about to write, I was totally blank. Okay. All I was doing was listening to Sowmya and drawing. That's it.
Okay. Okay, so you just see now what's happened. It's a story which was having certain elements of our collective consciousness in that. And some archetypes, I try to present that archetype. So which archetype reached out to you, called out to you in this? By that I mean, we saw that there is the lover archetype, there is the hero archetype, the rebel archetype, and a couple of others. Which one do you think called out to you in this part of the story? You can just think about it, reflect upon it. Because this part of the story, and as you can see, the story doesn't start with this girl, she. Now, I used the she word because it holds he in it. And in Jungian thought, she and he, the anima and the animus, as they call it, is within each one of us, the masculine and the feminine. It's too narrow a word, masculine and feminine. It's much more than that when you talk about an anima or an animus. Both these, the tension of opposites, which I mentioned at the beginning, is there in this. So, in the first part of the story, what reached out to you? What is that archetype that called out to you? Anybody would like to say?
For me, it was the innocent.
Innocent. Wow. Okay.
Because happiness, she was looking for happiness probably everywhere. So for me, the innocent part came up.
Okay. Anybody else? Rebel?
For me,
There you go, rebel. Yes, Geeta ma'am.
For me, it is a love because she was looking for somebody who can love her. Love her. Yeah.
Lover. Okay. Anybody else? Explorer. Yes. 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 So, as we journey in the story, Jung tells us that the most significant part of our life is not childhood, but this point, the threshold of youth, entering adulthood, and adulthood, for him, it goes right up to 60 years. Because still you're 60, you're still adulting, you're still learning to become. You're learning, you're getting aware of who you are, and it travels through this. So you see that it's beautiful to see that he's given us the space to grow. And it doesn't, you're not stopped. You're not asked to stop growing, stop being the explorer, the lover, the innocent. And your life can stretch through this vast age group of, the adolescent to as long as you're 60. And this stage he calls is the athlete stage. Now, according to Jung, this is over, the stage is over, so go on to the next stage. It's not like that. It's like a continuous, you live this, and you can keep revisiting these archetypes, these things, again and again. So this is called the athlete stage. She's a rebel. By she, I mean, even if you're a man, you can identify with these archetypes. You are the rebel. Maybe you are the innocent. So reflect on your childhood, your, not childhood, youth, your adolescent youth stage. And the question we ask ourselves for this stage, which perhaps can give us the seeds of a story. What part of our external self are we attached to? So the woman went into the water and she lost everything. Her hair that she was admiring in the mirror. Only what remained was what she could see by, she could smell and she could speak. And that too is in my imagination. Maybe she lost even that. In losing all this, only sometimes it's said only when we lose something we realize its worth. So in this stage, we ask ourselves, what is it that I value in my outer self? What aspect of myself do I value? Do I really feel attached to? So growing up, I was very attached to my hair. By attachment, I don't mean that I wanted long hair. In fact, I wanted shorter hair. I wanted my hair to be short. But there's an attachment to my hair. And of course, because of the glasses, there was always this struggle. Do I look better with my glasses and without my glasses? So the journey of my glasses is a story by itself. How I have learned to accept wearing my glasses, because contact lenses don't suit me. I tear up, water keeps pouring down my eyes. And there's a story there. There's an element of an aspect of me that I can connect to. And the athlete stage, according to Jung, is our outward appearance. And the skeleton woman loses everything when she realizes that all is remaining of her. She's stripped of everything. Is just the skeleton. Okay, so this is the first stage of life that he talks about. Are we ready to move to the next stage? Yeah. So let's move into the next stage. The skeleton woman spent eons underwater. And when she realized that time had passed by, and somehow now she must look for a way out to reconnect with herself, she looked up around her, and there, a sliver of light through the river water descended down. And catching that light, she ascended up out of that river and onto the cold land. She pulled herself out and looked around, desolate. She was all alone. Where was she? How would she find her life again? What would she do now? The only thought in her mind was, would she find others? People like her father, her mother? Would she find them again? People of her village, will she find them again? She knew she didn't have the answers, for there was nothing around her. She was alone. It was desolate. And all she had was memories of her life before. And it's those memories now she used to recreate the space, the world around her. Exhausted with her thinking, she went to sleep, and in her sleep dreamt of her home, the ledge outside where her father would keep his spear and his axe, the rope on which he would hang the dried meat. She dreamt of it in her dreams. And when she woke up, she saw them. They had become real. Her snow hut was real. The thread was real. The ledge, the spear, the axe, she had dreamed it into existence. And so she started her life anew, all over again. Hunting by day, sleeping by night, and dreaming. When she woke up the next morning, her dreams appeared before her. But still, she could not dream people. She could not dream companionship. She could only dream up the physical elements of her world. She still felt alone and that she was missing something. Yet what was around her gave her a reason to be, to live. She took care. She took care of the world around her, put together the home that she'd always wanted and dreamed of. We stop here for the second stage. You can draw your response mandala. Take 2-3 minutes for it. If you don't feel like drawing at this moment, it can be a little heavy. You could just stay with your thoughts and we can share what's coming up for us. Perhaps what is the image that's coming up for you? A memory associated, an associated memory perhaps. Poonam.
Yeah, so when you were telling the story, one thing stayed with me, and somehow in my head, I have made the drawing already. I have not put it on paper since you said no need to, because it's already there, it's existing. I just saw that circle and I saw a beam of light. And I saw this girl moving out, and there was, after that, there was a flood of light. It just opened up. And the feeling that came to me was that you have to see the light. You have to feel it. And once you feel it, there's no stopping it. So I'm very hopeful this girl is going to get everything back, because she has found the light, which she was probably within the pond or whatever river. When she was lost for so many years, she was actually not finding it. And now I see the nurturer in her. She will nurture everything.
Beautiful. Oh, wow. Lovely, lovely.
The feeling with that associated story with myself comes to me is that whenever you don't stand for yourself is when you don't see the light. The light is always there. You have to be with yourself.
And what is that light? Again, for each one of us, that light
is different.
Be in a different form. It could be in the form of a person. It could be in the form of a thing, a work.
For me, it is voice. The voice.
The voice. Wow. Wow. Meenakshi, I saw you have switched on your video. Would you like to share?
When you told us to draw the picture, this is the one which I had made. It was very, very different than, what everybody could guess. But the circle was, the girl within, she was secure enough in her family. And then, I made these kind of, further drawings, which showed, she was getting a chance to, change her life path. But somehow, again, she, there was the rebel in her, and she wanted to, hold herself. But then the circumstances, there's this kind of an image that I showed, that somebody was pulling her out. She was compelled to move out. And then certain situations that were beyond her control. But it was a circle. It was a vicious circle wherein, or maybe, she was engulfed in the situation. Yeah. So certain things that were not in her control. Yeah. That's what came to me. And now that when you told us to think about, what happened thereafter. So after hearing the story, I felt that the life has to go on. There is hope. So for me, I felt that there is hope always. And to keep that hope alive is very important, because you don't know. We as life are so powerful that we have that capability to create something new. there is that hope.
Wonderful, wonderful, beautiful, beautiful. So lovely. I'm so glad that the meaning for you, the personal meanings are coming out through the story. The second stage that Jung talks about after the athlete is the warrior stage. This is the warrior, but he's not a peaceful warrior. This is a warrior who wants to make themselves, you can say, survive. They have to survive. They have to rebuild their life. So it becomes the nurturer, becomes the creator. They have to create this world, the world they want to occupy. And the light is the beautiful light that comes in, is that which brings them out of that. You know, how long will you be under the water? You have to come out. You have to now create this world. And you do that. You go out and create this world for yourself. You're the creator. The other archetypes, you are probably the hero there. You have to be your own hero. You have to save yourself. So this is the warrior stage of life. And again, it doesn't finish. It continues. You probably revisit it many, many times and live these archetypes in that stage where you're creating, you're maybe you are again nurturer, you're nurturing. So this particular stage, he says, is the most difficult. But it is also the stage where we are connected to the outside world the most. So in this stage, the question that I would like all of you to ask yourself is, what is it from the outer world that we crave the most? What is it? What is it from the outer world that we crave the most? What is that thing? That's the question to ask. Yes, Geetam.
Connectivity.
Connectivity. Okay.
I want to get connected with the people, because now this is the stage, as you said, in the various stage. Now we are all crossed to 60. Children are all grown up. They are all busy with their own work. Now we are alone. Even though we are occupied outside with our own whims and fancies, we want people, somebody to talk to us, somebody to say hello, somebody to ask, how are you?
Yes.
So we're looking for, craving for some affection and connectivity.
Yeah.
Soothing words.
Yeah. So you see the meaning we have given for this stage in our life. At the end of it, it is maybe just this one word which keeps us going. This warrior stage is filled with triumphs and struggles. But at the end of it, when you distill the meaning of this stage, now, like our skeleton woman, what does she seek the most? She's alone. Since there is no time, I'm going to finish the story. I don't want to leave the story unfinished. And then we will again have a conversation. So the story of the skeleton woman. We left her feeling alone and missing all that she had left behind, the memory of the human connection that she had before. As she was waiting, eons passed, and one cold night, she stepped out of her door to see a strange sight. A human was walking in the dark in the snow. She called out, "Hello, hello, hey, I'm here. Look at me. I'm here. I can help you." The figure in the dark was walking like an old person would, shuffling gait and hunched shoulders. Hearing her voice, turned and started walking towards her. And as he approached her, she realized it was an old, old man. And she knew this man was an elder. And as was custom of that land, an elder is sent out of the house to die alone. Here, she invited him back into her house, into her home that she had created. She sat him down, gave him food to eat, a warm drink, and when he was rested, she heard his story of his family, his children, his life. And then a thought occurred to her. She looked around and pulled out a seal skin and a piece of bone. She handed it to him and said, "Kind one, old one, do me a favor. With your ancient knowledge and your understanding of our culture and life, I know you have the skills to make me a drum. So make one. Make a drum for me and let's dance with the beats of that drum." And when he had put together this beautiful drum with such a sound that resonated through that snow hut, he drummed. He drummed again. He drummed, drummed, and drummed. With each beat of that drum, the skeleton woman's flesh, sinews, and body came back to her. The skin was woven on her again, and she was whole. As for the old elder, he regained his youth, and the two danced together. They danced the dance of life. And hand in hand now, the two of them left the space they called home to walk out back into the world they had known before, perhaps to find a community, a village. And when they entered there, they gathered people around them to share their gifts to the world, to everyone. And so our story talks about this skeleton woman who is whole again. Yeah. So we look at the final two stages of Jung's stages of life. He calls it the statement and the spirit. The statement is the time that you have finished your warrior stage. Again, it doesn't ever finish. That's not the right word to use. So the warrior is something you keep revisiting. Every time you take up a challenge or a goal, you revisit your warrior in you. You learn something new. You are a warrior. You are learning something new. But when you go into the statement stage, that's when you start questioning, what is the purpose of my existence? What am I here for? What will complete me? What makes me whole? And then you find that, and then you embrace it. You take it. And now in the spirit stage, you want to share it with the world. And that's what we have elders for. We go out, we go and share our gifts. And that's what you have to do. It's your duty. He says that. He says that as an elder, spirit is not over. Your life is not over. You have to revisit your You can even revisit your athlete stage, find a lover. You can revisit your warrior stage. But in the spirit stage, find your gift for the world. The statement stage is finding your purpose, and the spirit stage is the gift that you give to the world. So the questions we ask ourselves in these two stages is, what can I do for others? What can I do for others? And in the last stage, what truly matters in the end? What is it in the end that truly matters to me? These are the two questions we take with us as we explore the statement stage and the spirit stage. The statement stage is what can I give to others? What can I do for others, basically? And the last stage is what really matters in the end. So with that, we finish Carl's 4 stages of life. If you feel you want to have a more one-on-one discussion about the mandala, you can always get in touch with me. I'm on email, sowmya03@gmail.com. I am not an expert, please. And more of this, the mandala is for our personal introspection. And I use it on a daily basis for my own introspection and meditation. With that, now what are you thinking about these 2 stages? What's coming up for you? Thank you for your feedback about the story. Yeah, the 2 questions are, in the statement stage, we ask, what do you want to do for others? What do you want to do for others? What can I give to the society? And the last stage is, what truly matters in the end? So we go with 4 questions that we ask ourselves. From the first stage, we ask ourselves, what about me, my body, my physical aspects am I attached to? In the second stage, we ask ourselves, what do I crave from the outer world? What do I want from the outer world? What is it that I want the most? In the third stage, we ask, what can I do for others? And the last stage, we ask, what truly matters in the end? What is it that truly matters to me in the end? Yeah. Any thoughts, reflections? And thank you so much for putting it on the chat. Thank you so much. Yes, I felt this workshop was a calling, not because I'm any expert or anything. It's just that I didn't feel at all worried what was going to happen. I just felt that there is something else which is coming and asking me to do this. That's all.
Soumya, Rohini here.
Yes, Rohini, please.
Yeah, actually, this is the first workshop because I have been attending a couple of workshops, but so for everything there was a closure, there was an ending. But this is the first workshop. I felt it is just a beginning, and it's like left me with lots of unended questions, and there is a lot more to explore. So that is the wonderful part of it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Actually, we are all we should be thankful to Jung, and I know Eric does the storytelling therapy workshops where he dives deeper into Jung. So you should be doing his workshop.
Yes, yes, definitely. I would definitely plan to do, a course with Eric Miller. It's been really beautiful journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's our space that we co-create. I know any more sharings? I can see that a lot of you are putting it on the chat. Thank you for your beautiful words. Thank you so much. The story is actually called Skeleton Woman, and I read it in the Patakan Tales that I got from the Internet Archives. And the associations are mine. Some of the imagination, the story has been reimagined by me. Yet the elements of the story, the basic bones are true to what was there in the book, in the reading of that story. I have not gone away from the bones of the story. And so I feel personally, certain folk tales have the power to make us go on this journey too. Though the collective, the fairy tales have been used. This was almost like a fairy tale, though there is certain, elements are not there in this story. It's not there. So you cannot call it a fairy tale. It is a folk tale. Any thoughts? Mangalam, Jyoti, people who have not spoken but were here throughout. We have 2 minutes, I know. Just 2 minutes, if you can say something.
So, Sowmya, I'm in a stage that I don't want to speak out for the fear that what I have soaked in will kind of evaporate. I really want to just stay with the feeling. And today, for the first time, I don't know why I felt silence is so beautiful. Not all things have to be spoken. So this is my thought, just that.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Hi, Sowmya. Mrinal this side.
Hi.
It might be an extrapolated connection, but that image of the skeleton woman, where her pieces were taken off, and then she found the light out when she emerged out, right? So it's an imagery that's running in my mind, that something has been scraped off from my rusted mind, where I was just keeping too much on the inside. After listening to the story, after interacting with you, and this mandala that has come out on paper, this yellow thing, I feel like just smudging the entire paper. This yellow thing basically was my inner thoughts when you asked us to draw it. I feel like smudging the entire paper, this paper with yellow light now, so that I can just be a little bit free. So thank you so much. I want to dance to the dance of the drums, as you mentioned in the end of the story.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
Go and do your dance. Do coloring. Yes, I know that's what. So the magic of storytelling is in this beautiful journey you take inwards. I think when we see ourselves through this, and it's not happening at a conscious level, it's happening at a very unconscious level. The magic is there.
Just wanted to add,
Yeah.
Sowmya, if I may. So when she said, tickling bones, when she spoke music, actually, when you started playing the drum, that was the feeling that came to me, that life is a festival, we have to celebrate it. And when that came, and it is in the togetherness. Slowly, the minute, everything came to me, and I thought you should end it with a nice dance with some nice drums. That was a thought that was running in my head.
We should. Maybe if we had been in person, I would have incorporated that. I think I won't put Eric through any more tension. Thank you so much. And let's close this circle. Thank you all for being part of this offering. And thank you, Eric, for the opportunity for me to explore. I've been reading, by the way, if you're interested in Jungian thought, there is this weekly, there is a video group, I don't know how to put it, 52 Living Ideas is a website. Go and check out their videos. They upload a lot of conversations on Jung, and I found it very profound. They call it practical Jung. So how do we use Jungian thought in daily life, which is really wonderful. 52 Living Ideas. 52 Living Ideas. There's a lot of other topics covered, but one of this is go look at the playlist for Carl Jung. 52 Living Ideas. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sowmya. That was really so wonderful. Your work has become so rich with this, with your interest in Carl Jung. I really have to congratulate you. I admire you. that your work has become very deep. With, of course, Carl Jung is the one of the founders of psychoanalysis, together with Sigmund Freud. And Carl Jung really is the founding thinker behind all of the art therapies, because of his interest in symbols and metaphors. So you're doing great work.
Thank you.
Do you see clients one-on-one?
Not yet.
Well, you could. Okay, now I'm going to stop recording.